Hey, what's up? It's the real Mr. Homicide rocking with Chicago Street TV out here in the Windy City for the Super Show. Let's get it.
I keeps it OG, original gangster.
Fools nowadays tweaked out, acting shady. Scared of a one-on-one, it don't amaze me. Pulling out straps, thinking that they're crazy. Pull that pussy shit on me. Hasta la vista, baby, nowadays.
So what are your thoughts of Chicago so far?
Man, I love it. Food's good, good hospitality. Shout out to the homie Almighty Blessing and the Slice Factory for the good food, and so far it's going great.
So you coming all the way from California. Can you let us know what part of California it is that you're from?
I'm originally from the Inland Empire, Riverside, but Los Angeles, LA, it's just right there next door. East LA is my second home, so for all the confusion out there, I originally, born and raised in the IE. My second home is East LA, so that's where I'm at.
So for the people who are not from those areas or neighborhoods, do you want to describe to us what it was like there growing up and what is it like now?
Shit, growing up back in the day was like, the 90s, it was fucking crazy, it was wild, but nowadays it's a whole different world than back then because, it's still, it's still dangerous, there's still gangs, all that, all this stuff's still around, but it's just not as bad as it used to be. So for all the people out there that be trying to like pump it up to something that it's not, like it is dangerous, but if you're trying to compare it to the 90s, we're living in the safest point in history right now. So that's what people got to realize, it's shit could happen anywhere, but if you're trying to compare it to the 90s, like I said, it is bad, but it ain't like it used to be.
You got the name, the real Mr. Homicide. Do you want to talk more about how it is that you got that name?
Yeah, so, just how everyone gets their nicknames, running around with the homies doing crazy shit, and then that so happens to be my name. So, some people know the story, but it's, I don't want to speak too much on that,
And with that, what came first? Did the music came first or did the nickname came first?
Oh, no, the music, for sure.
So how did did you get it started into the music?
Because I used to be in boxing, so I used to come home, and my brother and his homie used to be in the room rapping and shit, and I'm like the little brother. So, I'd pick up a, pencil and pen or whatever and paper, start writing, seeing what I could come up with, and then I stuck with it and then just kept pushing, and then little by little just, kept working on my craft, and shit, look at me now. Now I'm over here touring, I'm in Chicago and shit.
Do you want to describe the style of your music?
My music's, it's an original style. I'm mostly known for like that dark type of shit, but gangster shit, love songs, lyrical. Like I make sure I do stuff for everybody. So when you put in one of my CDs or you buy an album, there's something on there for everybody.
Or what type of music you listen to growing up?
I grew up on like a lot of, obviously all the West Coast shit, but Chicano rap, Brownside, Little Rob, Mr. Night Out, stuff like that. Big Locote, also another one.
So you mentioned the genre of Chicano rap, and there's been a lot of controversy going on as far as who is like the number one. In your opinion, who do you think is the number one, or at least like a top 3 or top 5?
The king of Chicano rap, Toker from the Brownside, hands down. Top 3, definitely gotta have Little Rob up there, Kid Frost, and Toker from the Brownside. So those will probably be like the top 3 overall that, they've been there, done it, sold, thousands of records, if not over 1 million records,
So you just mentioned a few Chicano rap legends, and I saw, looking through your library of work, you work with Mr. Yosie. You want to talk about what the experience like working with him?
Yes, so when I was working with Yosie Locote, we didn't get a chance to actually film the video. I was actually supposed to go out there to Mexico and film the video with him. He sent a couple videos giving me shout outs and stuff. We talked a little bit over the phone. I actually got that feature through Mr. Triple Lot. which is another rapper, and he called me up and he's like, "Hey, Yosie likes our song. He wants to jump on it." I was like, "Hell yeah!" So he dropped a verse, and the rest is history, you know. And then rest in peace. And um, that's why the video didn't come out. I was supposed to go out there and film it, but that's life sometimes.
You also work with Rich G, and you had mentioned earlier Toker
Uh-huh.
from Brownside. Do you want to talk about the experience, what it was like working with these legends?
Yeah, man, I remember being in high school, bumping the Brownside. Little did I know that would become my best homies. You know what I mean? Just smashing on fools, listening to Brownside and shit. Like being a knuckleheaded youngster, and then somewhere along the line, I get linked up with Toker. Um, he ended up, becoming like my big brother and shit. He would always call me his little brother. And then I linked up with Rich G from the Brownside, and um, I was actually supposed to sign with them. Me and Toker would talk, and then nothing was able to come about it because, rest in peace. Unfortunately, he passed away, but his memory still lives on. I always give him shout outs. I always make sure, I keep how do you say his name alive and shit in this Chicano rap game, because a lot of people try not to give him his credit. So I make sure I give him his credit.
And one other artist you also work with is Capone,
Uh-huh.
who was formerly with Latino Jam Records
Uh-huh.
out of Texas. Do you want to describe what it was like working with him and why you chose to work with him?
Yeah, so I like working with people, not just because they're on or they got a name. I like working with people that I grew up listening to. So even let's say they're big, but they're not as big as they used to, or even if they fell off, man, I'm like, fuck it, I want to do a song with them because I want to do a song with them. So I reached out to him. We started, chopping it up, and then I had no idea that he actually listened to some of my shit. And he was even asking me, "Hey, how'd you find me?" You know what I mean? I was like, "Well, on Instagram." We started chopping it up, and then we did the song. He did the video on his side. I did the video on my side. Somebody edited, put it together, and then we put out the video. And then the rest is history. With that, he was cool. He showed me a lot of love, and um, just like all the OGs, man, I'm grateful that all the OGs always show me love. They like what I'm doing, and that's how we grow. We support each other, help each other out.
So, you mentioned a few boxers that you watch nowadays, but I noticed that you didn't mention the number one boxer, Canelo. Is there a reason why you didn't mention Canelo?
No, Canelo's good. I like him, but I didn't like the fact that it seems like he ducks a lot of boxers that he should be fighting. Like obviously like Benavidez, he should have fought Triple G a lot sooner. Um, I actually was a Canelo supporter since before anybody knew about him. When he was in Mexico, he was like, he's older than me, but I think it was like in high school, I started watching him. He was barely coming up, and I supported him all the way up until, I still support him. Obviously, I always support my people, but I didn't like the fact he was talking all this shit, like, oh, Triple G, like Mexicans, we don't give a fuck, we'll fight anybody, but he kept ducking him. It's like, man, either take the fight or just don't even talk about it. That's what kind of like upset me, and then the fight with Triple G, he obviously lost the first time. I felt like he lost the second time too. The third one, he finally beat him. I felt like he got the victory over it. But no, he's another good fighter too. But he's not. A lot of these boxers aren't really active like the old ones. Like the older ones, it was more about glory. It was more about fighting the best. Now it's more about money, like to pump up a fighter, and it's like a popularity contest. You have to really beat the guy to beat him. If not, they're gonna give the other guy the decision. So that's why a lot of people get robbed.
Do you want to let the audience know what part of Mexico is your family from?
My grandpa's from Chihuahua. I don't know where my grandma's from. She's from Mexico too, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, we come from Chihuahua, and then here, obviously. Oh, actually, no. I said here because, like I said, there's so much shit's going on in my head. Yeah, I'm in Chicago. I thought I was back home in California for a second. No, but like California's also was all a part of the Aztec Empire. It was all our land. So, but yeah, so that's where my roots were at.
So I saw that you had went to Mexico with Brownside and with Toker.
Mm.
Is that the only time you ever been to Mexico, or have you also been to Mexico before that?
No, yeah, I fucking every couple years, or sometimes a few times a year, go out there to Mexico, and either just to have a good time, family vacation, go, a bunch of things, man, from funerals to parties to everything. I got a lot of family out there, so I'll be out there in Mexico from time to time.
What are your thoughts of the Latino Mexican rap scene out in Mexico and Latin America?
I think right now we're finally getting our just due. I feel like right now is finally the time where you see it everywhere. Like people are pushing it. We're getting good views. We're getting it's getting more popular, and I feel like right now is the time for all raza to just show our skills, show what we could do, and we have the numbers, and we're supporting each other. And there's a lot of successful Mexican Chicano rappers from Mexico all the way to Cali, all over the U.S. So right now is our fucking time.
So, where you're from in California, do you want to let the fans know what are your top three favorite Mexican restaurants or taco joints?
I like a lot of like the no name, what is it called? Like street tacos and shit. Like like when they don't even have a name. They're just right there on the side of the. I think okay, you know what? There's one by my house, and it's called El Primo, whatever the fuck. They got some bomb ass tacos. So I would say them and King Taco, and just all the little taco stands that are on the side of the street. Those are the best ones.
You want to let the audience and the fans know if you got any upcoming projects?
Yeah, so big shout out to Brown Label Entertainment. Shout out to Marcos. We're doing real big things. So I just signed with Brown Label Entertainment. So we're working on my next album. A lot of big features, good music videos. They're actually helping me finish the movie because the movie costs a lot of money. So he's gonna help me out with that. A lot of shows, a lot of tours. So I got a lot coming up. So big shout out to Brown Label Entertainment. Shout out to Marcos. We're in the house, and pretty much it. So everything is under the real Mr. Homicide. Instagram is real underscore Mr. Homicide, and then YouTube's the real Mr. Homicide TV. TikTok is the real Mr. Homicide 187. So you guys go find me, follow me, support Raza, fucking everybody that's doing it, whether they have a YouTube channel, a business. If we just start supporting each other, we'll push each other to the top because we have the numbers and we have the support system. So, yeah.